Welcome back to The Experience. My guest Ty Duet was on last week talking about his accolades with his businesses. And before we start the show, he would like to say a little something.
Yeah, man. So look, obviously last week was great. We got to cover a lot of stuff, and I'm excited for this week. Just to let you guys know, we're going to be doing a giveaway here real soon on Eric's social media, ADHD Experience on Instagram. We're giving away $200 in gift certificates to Loft 18. We're going to be giving away a bottle of Rare Stash Bourbon. I believe this is Rare Stash number 2, which is actually sold out in stores. We're on to Rare Stash number 3. And a Fore Sport Media hat. I'm not going to tell you how to enter the giveaway just yet, but keep in touch with us on social media, on Eric's podcast. And yeah, stay tuned how to enter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome back, by the way.
I'm happy to be back, man.
So I guess let's get right into it, man. How did this come about?
Did this come about?
No,
all of this?
Well, you know, we spoke on Loft 18. Yeah. We spoke on the media company. But how did you, like, because obviously you've been meeting people.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about behind the scenes. It's like.
People's everything, man.
People's everything.
Your network is who you are. You are an extension of the people around you. And
correct.
Obviously, like we said, we got some awesome things coming up. I'm pretty sure we ended the last episode talking about, some of the exciting stuff with Loft 18. We're working on some awesome expansion efforts, in other markets, which
correct.
Not going to say just yet, but we got some awesome new partners out there that we've been having some exploratory conversations about being in some really cool markets. Hint, hint. Hopefully you guys will get to hear about pretty soon. I think I touched on Rare Stash. We're doing some pretty big stuff. Like I said, one of the owners, Dustin Poirier, he's going to be fighting for the lightweight title in Newark, New Jersey, June 1st. We just went to his last fight in Miami, which was fucking sick, man.
Wow,
he had to fight down the rankings because he lost the fight against Justin Gaethje in Utah. We were there for that too. So he kind of had to go through a little bit of a ringer to get back to where he is now. But they tested him with a young, hungry cat from France, I believe, BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis.
Oh, wow.
And he was dangerous, man. He finished like his last 5 opponents, and Dustin took the fight and showed this fucker like what was up, man. He locked in and said, I'm still one of the best in the world at this, and knocked him out second round. It was nuts, man. The arena went crazy. And then ultimately that led him to get a title fight with the pound for pound champion, Islam Makhachev, the world. So that's going to be sick. It's going to be sick, man. We leave, I believe we leave on the 30th. We're traveling with the big crew. One of our business partners I've been working with, a good buddy of mine now, his name's Tim Metcalf. He owns Préjean's in Lafayette, as well as Dino's. It's a great man, great family. They come from great people. We've been traveling to the fights together and doing a lot of work together, man. I'm just excited to be with everybody again that we've been traveling with, and ultimately work, help Dustin work towards his goal. And then with Rare Stash, obviously we're not in New Jersey, but we are in New York. So we're going to try to, meet up with some fans out there and give away some bottles and swag. So that's going to be fun. And then obviously Fore Sport Media, to kind of cap it off, from what an idea of venture group turning into this, now we're working with big name construction clients and bourbons and, influencers all around and athletes everywhere. Like, it's dope, man.
Is when you go into like record an athlete or something like that, like what's in your head? Like, what do I have to capture? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking? Like, because you have to almost think like an athlete to catch them in like their.
Well, yeah, you want to capture them in their rawest moment of their craft, and ultimately at the end of the day, kind of like we talked about, don't pretend to know it all, ask the questions, feel the vibe, see what they're already doing. What are they doing good? What's getting the most engagement? And ultimately like have that conversation with the person. Like, how do you want yourself portrayed? What do you want? Because, when you own a media company, everything that you're doing is for the service of someone else or someone else's business. So like, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. I'm not going to tell you who to be. I want you to be you. And I want you to tell me what you want, and then we're going to create it for you. So
your goal is to make them look their best at their thing.
At what they do. Correct.
I like that. Yeah,
man. And like, ultimately, one of the biggest things that we talked about last was like meeting people, the network of people. And I know we mentioned a couple of things, but I got a good network of people that, I'm surrounded with, whether it's, my partner, Greg, great mentor, my other business partner, Jared, who's also my best friend. We've, been through the ringer together. Yeah. Our new partner, who I would like to, say a little bit about, man, like we talk about investing in people. Correct. That's, hire the person, teach the job. We found this kid in Houston, Texas. His name's Chris Franco. And, he was working with the camera and stuff. I liked his work. Like, look, man, we're gonna be starting something soon and we want you to be a part of it. And we moved this kid, uprooted his life, moved from Houston all the way down here to Louisiana, and has been freaking killing it and only helping the brand grow. And you know, these are the people that we surround ourselves with. Just like I know you have your team, man. And like you're only as strong as the people with you.
But I love it how you're able to like hand pick right now, because like in the beginning you probably had to take what was kind of around, right?
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that.
We kind of talked about that in the lounge, and it's like now like it's beautiful to see like you be able to do that, because I know what kind of person you are. I know how you drive, and I was like, wow, he's gonna mentor the shit out of this guy. But you've had mentors mentor you, so like it's just cool that you're like giving it back.
Oh, that's everything, man. Pay it back, pay it forward, however you want to call it, however you want to look at it. You know, like I try to be as humble as possible in life, because like we said, everything can be taken away from you at any given moment. But like, you know, I've had people look at me and say, you're not there yet, but I see something in you and I'm going to help you. So it's only fair of me to do the same for other people. And like you said, handpicking the people around you. Look, man, when you start getting to certain levels in life or certain levels in business, and you know, some of the, you know, my colleagues and people I keep around me, they could probably attest to the same. But like, somebody always wants a handout. Somebody always wants something from you. The conversation stop being like, hey, how are you? And it's like, hey, can I have blank? You know, I get people hit me up all the time that's like, hey man, hope you're good. Can I have a donation? Or hey man, can I have blank? I'm like, cool and all, but like, how about we start with how are you? Correct. You know? So like I keep a close knit group of people, of winners around me, and people who like genuinely care about each other. And like, that's the people I want to be around.
You know, it's wild. It's like, I'm pretty sure, and I guess that was a question I wanted to ask a while back, was like, how many people, like, since they're, you know, because obviously you see the success on social media, you know, you're making these deals and you're doing big things. Have more people like come out the woodwork and be like, hey, Ty, I remember that, dude, man. Like, or has that been like not as bad? Or because, you know,
look, I don't pretend ever to be anything that I'm not. You know, I want to be unapologetically me. I want to show myself like that. I've obviously been through ruts where like I wanted to be something bigger or smaller or whatever maybe, but like today, who I am now and what I've worked on for the last few years is like just be myself. And like you said, dude, people will like, people always are looking for something, and they always want their own personal gain through someone else's success. And like, it's been hard to manage because I am such a people person. I am such a give back person. I bring a lot of people along with me everywhere we go, you know, whether that's paying for people's stuff, giving people opportunities that shouldn't get opportunities or whatever it may be. But like, I like to see the good in people, and I like to give back because, you know, obviously being so young, it's a very unique position for me to be in. Right. And like, I have access to a lot of stuff, and, you know, I'm in a, you know, a really good place, and like, not all of my friends are. And, you know, I like to keep the mindset of like, the people who are in my circle, you're taken care of. You're coming with me. If I don't have a job for you, I'm going to introduce you to somebody who's going to give you a job. My friend Mike, you know, a couple of years ago, one of my best friends, I didn't have a job for him. Let him be introduced to somebody who gave him an opportunity. And now that I have a job for him, brought him back. Nice. You know, come back into this circle, because what we can create together is stronger than what we can create apart. And if we can all weave and move in together, like, let's make it happen. You know, same thing like we talk about with this.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, it's not, I knew from the day I started this, I already knew I wasn't going to be able to do this by myself, because
it takes a village.
Yes. And it's not, I don't want to be by myself doing this, you know, like it's more fun when you have the friends around you, the camaraderie, and it's like, hey, dude, we're all doing this.
Well, and like, that's the thing. It's like, it's fun because you're surrounded by the right people. Right. You know, there was a time where I was doing most of the stuff that we're talking about right now, but I was surrounded by the wrong people. I felt like I was being used to a certain extent. I felt like people were exploiting my kindness. And like, once I really woke the fuck up and I was like, yo, who the hell do I have around me? And what are y'all bringing into my life? Right. That's when my life changed, man. Especially like,
did a lot of people have to, you had to kick a lot of people off?
I had to cut a lot of people out, man. I left a lot of group chats. I left, you know, a lot of experiences. You know, I told myself, I guess, what was it? I guess this year or last year, 2023. You know, I was going out a lot the year before. Obviously, we talked about going through that breakup and stuff. I was in the club a lot, and I told myself I was out of that mindset. I told myself I was not going out in a club, especially in New Orleans, all of 2023. And I don't think I went until my partner Jared's birthday in November, and that was the only time I went out. Wow. And then obviously, you know, getting in another relationship, which has been great for me. You know, me and my current girlfriend Jordan, we been on and off for the last 2 years. But, you know, we started taking things a lot more seriously, you know, I would say pretty much since November. Right. And things have been great, man. She's got a daughter. Her name's Addie, 3 years old. And it's been the biggest blessing of my life, getting to be in her life, you know?
Well, yeah, man, because like, you know, we are strong, you know, by ourselves, but like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like having like the woman to like kind of guide us, you know what I mean? It's like, or to get, not even
to know it's all worth it, man, because at the end of the day, there's nothing satisfying about busting your ass and then going spend money or do whatever that just doesn't make sense. There's nothing to me more satisfying than like I go to bust my ass for them. You know, now I find I have a new purpose. You know, not only do I do this for myself, not only do I do this for my coworkers and my colleagues, but now I have a woman, you know, a stepdaughter, call it, to actually support and to like want to do better for them. You know, like I look at, you know, the daughter like my own child in that sense. Like I know how I was brought up and I want to make sure she's brought up better. You know, if Jordan and I ever have kids down the line, like I want to make sure that they have everything that like, you know, not to say that I wanted, but like things that maybe I missed out on, I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And like, and like we talked about, like giving them, like giving it to them, but them earning it as well. So they know,
100%. There's no handouts around here,
for sure, dude. No. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think people realize like when you just give it give kids everything, they don't turn into you. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree, man. Like, and like, I know we touched on my parents a little bit, but like, I wasn't given everything I wanted. I had to work for it. I had to earn it. And like that, you know, ultimately turned me into who I am. But like with that, like all this fun shit that we have going on, like it's so surreal sometimes, you know. I try not to get like overwhelmed with emotion, you know, when I think about it, but like to be in the position that I'm in at this age, knowing what I went through and all this stuff, it's like, it's fucking awesome, man.
Well, even when you were going through that little spurt, right? And I saw you out once or twice, and it's like, were you happy or
no?
Yeah, right.
That wasn't me.
So you snapped out of it so quick. And that's what I love about you, dude. It's like you literally
self-accountability.
Yeah, bro. You correct yourself on a lot of shit that it takes years. I mean, dude, I'm 38 and I've not just started, but I've been figuring it out. And it's like, wow.
We all work on different timelines, man. And I don't ever like to compare. And I tell my friends this too, you know, obviously being young, like don't ever compare your success to someone else's, because we all work on different timelines. Like, you know, everybody's different. Everybody's experience is going to be different. And like, you'll rob yourself of your own happiness and you'll rob yourself of the joy of the journey if you compare yourself to other people. And like, there's no fun in that, man. Like, yes, I've struggled. Yes, I've been through it. But yes, I've had really high moments. Yes, I've got to do really cool things. But like, I would not change 1 inch on the timeline. People always say if you could go back, name one thing you would change or do different. I wouldn't do fucking damn thing different.
No, dude.
Because I love who I am. I love the people around me. And I love, you know, the experiences that have got me here. So like, why the hell would I change something?
Look what actually acting and being like yourself has gotten you.
The
more I start acting like myself or being myself, being
more
comfortable,
doors that open.
Dude, it's been gnarly.
Yeah, I think a lot of people try to be, you know, people that they're not. I think social media, you know, even to my own fault, I think it ruins your expectation of life. You know, you may see someone doing something or somebody buying something, you're like, oh, fuck, I wish I had that. Or like, oh, this job pays this, I want to go do that. Look, I've been wrapped up to it in my
well, it's like we talked about yesterday, you know, it's a gift and a curse, you know.
It's a gift and a curse.
We need it for the right thing, I would say, but I hate when people use it for bad.
So it's funny. So like I was obviously wrapped up into it all at one point. Now I'm definitely, everybody's iPhone, by the way, for those watching, you actually can set timers on apps on how many minutes a day it allows you to use it. Nice. So I have a 30-minute timer set on Instagram because I have to use Instagram a lot for work. For sure. Obviously, a lot of connections are made through there. We funnel a lot of business through that. But that's the one that I find myself I can get wormholes in. Not TikTok. Instagram was always my thing. So I set myself 30 minutes a day. I make sure it's work, little bit of personal, check up with my friends and stuff. Then I'm off of it. You know, I'm still on my phone a lot, but the social media stuff, you got to keep it, you know, keep it 100.
Well, I mean, it has to be treated like a business because then it gets out of hand. And then you're like doing dumb shit or buying dumb shit that you don't need. And it's like, and that's where, like I said, man, like you could become a millionaire through Instagram, but at the same time, you could also ruin your life. And I guess that's all social media.
But it's also true for real life. You know, like you can, you know, like here we are, you know, trying to execute our dreams, doing the things that we're doing. We could easily shoot ourselves in the foot and start back from square one like this. You make one wrong decision. You drink and drive once. You know, if you were maybe had addiction problems, you go back to that substance once. Like you can go back to square one, day one, in a blink of a fucking eye. So it takes that, like we just mentioned, it takes that self-accountability, not only from a social media standpoint, but from an everyday standpoint to like challenge yourself to not let that reset happen. It's okay to slip. It's okay to, you know, have setbacks, but like you can't restart, man.
Do you feel like you try to implement a lot of that into your staff and like the people you surround yourself with now?
Absolutely, man. Like, you know, we have different methods of coaching and teaching and, you know, with staffing, you know, somebody messes up. Like the biggest thing that like I've learned through staffing and, you know, what I tell everybody is like, you have to talk to everyone differently. So like whether I have a lot of different age groups that work for me. I've been through all these industries. So like, I'm going to reprimand and talk to my 45-year-old line cook very differently than I'm going to reprimand and talk to my 20-year-old service manager. Right. You have to feel people's energy. You have to know where they come from. You have to understand them in order to guide them to do better. And ultimately, like, if you don't, you can't be in people management. That's the biggest thing about people, is understanding people.
Well, I love how your play on running a business is compared to like other people. It's like you actually give a shit, and like you're learning how to be better for them and like coach them and lead them and be their boss, but also like kind of be their friend, because it's like, hey, this dude actually gives a shit about
It's
me.
a little bit of both, man. Like obviously, like you don't want to mix business and pleasure too much.
For sure.
At the end of the day, man, these people that especially come on board with me, like they sacrifice a lot, just like I did back in the day. But like, I wouldn't ask you to do something that you don't know. Like I would do it myself. And that's what I show people. And I still to this day, even as a partner in this business, I'll still jump in that kitchen. I'll still jump in line. I'll put on an apron. I'll get behind the bar when we're busy. Like a lot of people don't do those things, especially like even being involved in the media company and stuff. I probably don't always have to pick up a camera. I don't have to be the one creating the websites and stuff, but I like to keep my touch on it with the clients, with our customers, to show, and with the staff that like, yo, I'm doing this with you. I don't want to be looked at as like this boss who sits back, because I also have a partner, Greg and Jared. They don't sit back and do that as well. So like we hold ourselves to that same standard. We're going to pull the same weight as the people that work for us. You know why? Because that's going to make them work harder with us and for us, and just makes everything feel like family, bro.
Right. And I feel like every time I go to the establishment at Loft 18 in Metairie, it's like, this place is way more than just like a business. And even like from like how you have all the lights to the music, the DJs, the different DJs, I was like, man, and that's just from like from the moment you opened until now. I was like, wow, it's crazy how all this is like, you just keep evolving. It comes together. Yeah, well, you keep evolving.
So that's the biggest word. Like I know we mentioned that in the first episode a little bit, but like evolution's everything. I mean, even as humans, as men, as we all evolve, trends evolve, and like you have to be in tune with everything or you'll phase out.
Correct.
If something doesn't work, try something different. Correct. And like we're ahead of the curve with that. We're watching margins, we're watching trends. When stuff stops selling, let's replace it. Let's see what other people in this world are doing. What's happening in LA? What's happening in New York? The places that are 10 years ahead of us. Right. How do we implement it before everyone else around here? And you can do that, man. You make all the money you want. Dude.
Well, I mean, as far as like with the media now, like what have y'all been working on some new stuff, or like what's your like take with all that with Jared and?
Yeah, so me, Jared, Chris, and Greg, we have the media company. We also, Justin, J.H. Melfit, shout out, does some sales for us. But ultimately, the goal with that, man, is we started this to expand our network. We want to meet, look, we have skills. We brought Chris on, especially because he had skills in the videography side of things, but we wanted to expand our network, meet more people, obviously capitalize on what we're good at. But like through that, we've been able to help a lot of people who didn't, maybe not know how to set up a social media, or maybe did not know how to set up a website, or had bad designs, or shooting themselves in the foot. We're helping you, give you the tools to be successful. But like I said, the network is the biggest thing. Right. And like how I met like the Rare Stash guys, I think that's a funny story to talk about. I'm just flipping through, social media one day. I see, obviously I'm a fight fan. I saw Dustin had a bourbon, and I just went to his personal website, and I'm like, look, man, sent him a message, an email. I'm like, hey man, I'm Ty Duet partner over here at Loft 18. Two Louisiana guys, there's no reason we shouldn't be working together. Shit you not, 30 minutes later, he ended up seeing my email for whatever reason and was like, oh man, your business looks cool. I think, we should connect and get you in touch with my business partner, Ed. Ed then calls me 20 minutes later, and Ed and Bob are Dustin's partners in the bourbon. And these guys, we've grown a relationship like brotherhood. I talk to these guys every day. They're a lot older than me, but they're genuine humans. They're almost mentors to this point. And like, obviously I'm helping them I'm helping them with the new wave of the bourbon and stuff. But like them being connected with me through this business was ultimately one of the greatest things that's happened, because that network has since now grown. Once, I got introduced with Ed and Bob, they connected me with different players that's now helping Loft 18, helping the media company, we've grown the bourbon network. Yes. Now, we're in some preliminary talks with some other people on some other products about bringing on, maybe starting some new lines. Right on. I'm not gonna speak too much about it because, we'll talk about that when things launch.
And that's beautiful.
The network's expanding. And like, if we can, plug and play pieces from different departments, and divisions to new areas, that keeps everybody's pathway growing. And that's what I'm trying to provide, career paths for, a magnitude of different industries for a magnitude of different people.
Correct. And the thing about the media company, it's like, since it has like the words in it that, it's like, it's almost like, do you think people are going to make it more of like, man, that's like they promote fighters or they promote, you know, sports, or like what like in your head, like what is it promoting for you the most? Like what,
the name or the business?
The name.
I think the name is a little misleading at times, you know, because when you think of a marketing company or media company that's called For Sport Media, like you said, they only work with athletes. Like, no, I mean, some of our big name clients, especially around town, 504 Construction, Tiger Event Rentals, Alligator Contractors. I mean, we have trade businesses. We have a paint striping company called New Stripe. We have obviously Rare Stash Bourbon, you know, Loft 18. So like we have a very diverse, it's a diversified profile. Whereas, sure, if we had a more generic name, you know, NOLA Marketing, maybe we would appeal to more people. But like, brother, the name of your business isn't what's going to make you. It's going to be the people who run your business. And like our interactions are so intimate, so meaningful. We don't take on work unless we know we can help you, because like, I don't care about that dollar in your pocket. I care about dollars that you're making, that you're putting in your pocket, not what I'm taking from you. So like, it's not about the money. It's like, if this partnership can work, I look at clients like partners, you know, I want to be able to make you money, and in turn, then that obviously funds what we're doing.
And I mean, isn't that the goal? It's like, help me, help you. We're helping each other. I mean, I think that's where people have been, you know, because of social media, like
they want it all today.
Not only that, man, but it's like stopped people from like being genuine to help somebody else. You know what I mean? Like me and Rayshawn, I mean, dude, I'm pushing his stuff as much as he's pushing mine. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to like bring each other up, you know?
There's nothing more disheartening than a homie who asks for a handout that doesn't share your business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, dude. It's like he cares about my shit sometimes more than I do. Sometimes he was like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. You're starting to slack on this. But that's like a real person telling me like, hey, because they care about it like that, because they also have something like
and
that.
I will say you have the squad, and I know that I have the squad as well. Like I have a team of homies that like, they don't make any money from some of the stuff that I do. Now, do I take care of stuff when they come into the establishment, or
dude.
we travel together?
Places to live, bro.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but like even my friends, like I take care of them for what I can, but like they don't make money for resharing my stuff. You know, the people that I surround myself with, that I travel with, that I do things with on the weekly basis, like those people get taken care of because I know that they take care of me. They're helping promote what I have. They're pushing it on their friends. They're bringing their family experiences to me. They believe in it, man, and it's nothing more rewarding than, you know, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, man. And like, I think too many people get, you know, clouded and surrounded by people who just want something from them, and like they can't figure out that line. Like I couldn't in the beginning, but now that I figured out that line, man, life's so much more enjoyable.
How long you think it took you to figure that out, man? Because that's a thing. Like some people, it takes them a lot longer, and it's like you've been ahead of the curve at a young age, dude, and like you still capitalizing all the time. Like every time I talk to you, I'm like, wow.
Something else
I'm behind. Yeah, and I feel like I don't feel like I'm behind, but I'm like, what?
Oh, you're on your own timeline.
Yeah, bro. But it's like, you know, your drive drives me. Same thing with Rayshawn, same thing with Chris, everybody in the group. It's like, you know, so like, how do you feel like that's been happening lately? Because is it just from experience of like having these different brands, these different companies? Or
I think I stay busy, but I think I realized, to answer the first question, I think I realized with who I wanted to keep in my circle when times got tough, when I got dark, when I went through my struggle and I was, you know, off the rocker in a certain sense, which people at work would have never noticed it. But like, you would expect the people closest to you to notice when you're not you. And like, when I was going off the rails, there was people around me that were feeding into that and like, you know, egging that on, like, oh, keep going off the rails. You're doing blah, blah, blah. We're having so much fun. Yeah. But then there was a line of people that were like, hey man, are you all right? Fuck are you doing with yourself? And those are the people, like my girlfriend, you know, my dad, you know, the Jareds, the Gregs, the people that like, you know, that held me to that level and standard of like, yo, wake the fuck up. Those are your best friends. Like a friend to me isn't someone who like, you know, celebrates you all the time. A friend is somebody that holds you fucking accountable. Yeah. Like Jared and I are, you know, we go off on each other, man. Yeah. Like we don't hold nothing back. Like, man, fuck you. You did some shit you shouldn't have did. Yep. Like you do this shit again, I don't want nothing to fucking do with you. He tells me that just like I tell him that. Yep. Like
that's what your brother's supposed to do.
That's what your brother's supposed to do, man. And like that's what ultimately when you say the word brother,
that shit gave me goosebumps.
Same, man. Like, you know, I have a little brother. You know, my stepmom had a kid. I think I'm 14 years older than him. Yeah, he's 11. And like, I look at this as like, who do I want to be for him? You know, I didn't have
he's watching.
He's watching everything, man. He sees all my social media. He keeps up with it. We talk on the phone all the time. Like, I know he looks up to me and like, who do I want to be for him? You know, not just my friends. Who do I want to be for my friends? But like, who do I want to be for my little brother? Who do I want to be for my kids down the line? Who do I want to be for my girlfriend's daughter? You know, who do I want to, you know, show myself as, and what kind of man do I want to be?
Right.
And the people who can hold you to that level of standard, that's the people you surround yourself with.
Dude, that's wild because technically between your mom and your dad, you're the only child, correct?
Well, yes. So my mom and dad, they didn't make it but a couple months.
You're like me. So, but I have 3 stepsisters. Well, 2 stepsisters, 1 half sister. You know, so I have siblings, but they came later. But it's like it's cool to see like you're being this. You know, I was gonna call you action hero, but you're like somebody that your brother could look up to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you really didn't even have that.
No, and
so
like
that's cool. Besides like your dad, like you said,
agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But it's cool that you know you're able to do that and going through everything you've been through. And it's like, wow, man, like you're actually. This is the right way to show a young adult like how to become a man.
And with that, man, like I think you hit on some good points. And like, you know, so I also have a sister. So my mom, I know we touched on, you know, some bad family stuff back in the day, but I have a sister, you know, on my mom's side with my ex-stepdad, who I still love to this day.
Yes.
But, you know, I have a sister and, you know, we may not have been the closest, never for any reason other than my own struggles with the acceptance of like, you're also the child of my mom who I may or may not have good relationships with, whatever, man. We don't got to touch on all of it. But as I'm getting older and as I'm doing these things and my, you know, perspective changes, like my relationship with my sister has gotten so much better, especially as of lately. Because I used to like, maybe not, we got separated, but we're rekindling, you know, I'm looking out for her a lot more. Like I want to see her succeed. She's a great fucking person, man. She's everything again that I wish that I could have been as far as like her kindness, her heart. And like, I want to help her now, you know, it's like, cause I have the opportunity to, and, you know, I was blessed with some great grandparents on both sides that, you know, could always like not made me do things, but like gave me good advice. So I had a good structure after the beginning crumbled. I had a good structure to like coach me to where I needed to be, but ultimately fell on my shoulders.
Well, you realize, and I think now with all the successes and all the hard work and struggles, like when you're busy building that, a lot of people, like I didn't see my sisters, my nieces, my nephews. Like I felt like I didn't do enough, you know, and I've just hung out with them over the holidays and I'm like, they're freaking grown up. And I was like, dude, you know, you miss so much trying to make this dream come to life.
It's a balancing act, man.
Yeah, I think now you're realizing, like, you know, you rekindling with your sister. It's like, hey, this is important to me, and she's important. Like, you know what I mean? So that's good, man. And I guess like I'm kind of going through the same thing. It's like, you know, I want to be around the people that are important to me, and I'm gonna make time for them, just like I make time for this. And there's no fucking excuse because. At the end of the day, dude, it's like what you're gonna be by yourself and like, oh, I got all this stuff. There's no
happiness in that, man. I've done that. Dude, I've been by myself. I've been able to buy the cool car I wanted. You know, I've been able to go to the clubs and spend money. And at the end of the day, you go home by yourself, and it's like, dude, what? Like, fuck that life, man. Like, look, it's fun, and you can find fleeting emotion in it. But like, again, like we keep talking about, there's nothing more rewarding than doing all this and like having a why, having a purpose. You know, why do I do this? Who do I do this for? And like. I think that's the goal for anybody.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah. Dude, time flies when we're at this table. It's already.
Are we there already?
About 2 or 3 minutes, man. Do you have because you know, for all entrepreneurs out there, including myself, what is the biggest thing or lesson that you can say right now that you would just want to tell somebody like, hey, thinking about starting, or like through your experiences of being an entrepreneur?
In the most simple sentence I can say, I think I already said it at some point in our conversation, but be fucking unapologetically you and don't be sorry for it. If you can be you and, you know, present yourself in the truest, most transparent possible way, the right doors are open and you'll meet the right people. And that's when things really started working for me. People around me, you know, I got some really great business connections that, you know, I'd love to, you know, set you up with. I have, you know, good friendships with people. You know, one of my really close friends, his name's Ralph. He owns Vandal down in New Orleans. Shout out Ralph, shout out Vandal. I'd love him to be able to come on here and talk to you about maybe some of the things going on in the world. I know we mentioned my buddy Justin Stale Cracker. I mean, he does a lot of stuff for charity, a lot of stuff for these kids. I think there's a lot to learn.
He's blowing up, you know.
He's blowing up, man. He's doing it the right way.
Being himself.
Yeah, man. Just being, you know, there for other people. I think that there's some really good people that, you know, that can continue to sit at this table and shed light on, because I think that's what's going to, you know, open everyone's mindset to be better, is talking about your why, talking about your purpose, and like being yourself. And that's the best advice I could give.
Well, you said that yesterday while I was cutting your hair, and when you said that earlier, I was like, holy shit, I think I'm finally doing that.
That's good, man. I see it in you though, because like I remember you 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and like,
dude. Because I love being myself, but sometimes maybe I'm too much for people, or you know, and it's kind of like I hold back a little bit. But I'm like, well, dude, like fuck it, like who cares? Like unapologetically, that word,
whatever
like,
that word is.
And I'm like, man, you know what? He's fucking right. because ever since I started just being myself 100%, because I know I'm a good person, you know what I mean? And I feel like I attract good people, but sometimes, you know, bad people like to be attracted to good people. So they fucking leech on to you and, you know, they're lying, they're doing fucked up shit behind your back, and then you realize like, oh shit, I'm too nice to everybody.
I think it comes down even simpler than what you just said. I think what you told me about yourself, you know, like when you first started the podcast, you maybe had a drink, an old fashioned or two, you maybe eat an edible or something like this. When you stopped doing that and you started being more yourself, the conversations got more genuine. The message behind the meaning gets more, it reaches more people. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that stuff,
for sure.
But you became more you, and like, oh, that's what's going to push everything forward, whether it's a podcast, a restaurant, a clothing company. Like, be yourself within and everything will fall into place.
Dude, thank you, bro.
Thank you, man.
I learned a lot from you. I've been learning a lot from you, and that's why you're here. And I'm really, I hope everybody learned something from Ty tonight. And if you guys like this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you guys next week.
Don't forget about the giveaway real soon.
Yeah, we will definitely be during the week. We're gonna put some shout outs on there and show everybody how they can win these prizes. And thank you for coming on, brother, and good luck to you, all your success. Till next time.
Man, you as well. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.